Speaking of great stuff happening here in the city, I'm very pleased to have with us, but we have the directors of Pow Wow, but in their day jobs, we have Lisa Drexhage, who is the project manager at the Worcester Business Development Corporation, and Jessica Walsh, who is the owner of Worcester Wares. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Well, you both have pretty busy jobs on a day-to-day basis, but you find time to be a part of Pow Wow. And this summer, the third annual Pow Wow is taking place. It's really caught a lot of attention, created a lot of excitement throughout the community. It's an international kind of event, but maybe you could tell us what it is and how it came to Worcester and what people might be able to expect coming up.
It's a lot of questions.
Yeah,
actually.
we'll throw them in there. I'll come back.
So this year we are in our third year, and it'll be August 31st through September 9th. It's a 10-day art event in the city where we do multiple art installations, murals, events, artist talks, or different things that focus around the projects we're doing that week. It started when Che Anderson knew what Pow Wow was as an international brand and convinced a couple Worcester people to go with him to Hawaii to pitch Pow Wow, and we did, and they, had a poker face on the whole time, and then eventually said, "All right, let's try it," and we did, and now we're in year 3. Kind of crazy.
Lisa, how did you get involved?
Right. I think Che Anderson again wrote me in, but I started off in the sponsorship committee with a couple of other great people. Last year, I became the head of the sponsorship committee, and now this year I've stepped up as a director as well, which has been a very exciting process, and I've never quite understood what it takes to put on a mural art week like this, and it requires every facet of expertise, from legal to fundraising to marketing to construction, and we've assembled about 25 people from varying walks of life here in Worcester, very committed, all volunteers, and we've been working hard to make the third year possible.
And it's really about public art, right? I mean, so whether it's a public building, and a number of schools have, there was public schools that said, take this side of the building and paint it. Private companies have stepped up. The city has stepped up, and just so our viewers know who Che Anderson is, he works in the city manager's office.
Sure. He does.
And been a great advocate around public art and projects like this. But there's a lot of work that goes into that in terms of what activities are going on. If you got people painting and setting things up, there's a legal piece. You got to raise the money. But once you know the locations, there's a request for artists to come, right? There's a whole process. We've had people from across the globe come to Worcester. Maybe we could talk about that.
Sure. Absolutely. They've come from every continent except Australia, and we're working on that for this year. We're trying to make that so we hit all the continents, and they do. They come from all over. We have a local involvement where we have local artists doing murals and involved in the activities, and then we have them fly from all over the world. And like you said before, this is an international brand. It's in Guam and Korea and Hawaii and Japan and Hong Kong, and it's really exciting that Worcester is added to that. And everybody works really, really hard to make it happen for those 10 days, and then we all collapse on day 11, and then we start planning for the next one.
And it's amazing what these artists are able to do during that time frame.
Absolutely.
Working downtown, there's a lot of people who comment. As the chamber, we bring people into the city as we're trying to, get them to invest or learn about it, or companies and individuals, commercial real estate brokers, oftentimes they'll comment on the public art with the Pow Wow in particular. But it's not just limited to downtown. Before we came on air, we talked about the Elm Park School and how it just has transformed that whole school and added an energy to the neighborhood. So you're going to be doing a variety of different sites around the city too, again, right?
Yep. We recently announced, we're thrilled that the public school system wants to collaborate with us again, and we hope to deepen that partnership. We will be painting murals at Jacob Hyatt down in Maine South, as well as Chandler Elementary School, Chandler Magnet School, and another installation at Elm Park Community School, which we're very excited about.
Yeah, well, my kids, my last one just graduated from Jacob Hyatt, but one of the schools, two of the schools my wife works at both Chandler L and Jacob Hyatt, so we'll be seeing the murals. But it really, and it's a great example for the kids too. It excites them, get them talking. They talk about art. we talk about STEM rather, science, technology, engineering, math, but some people use STEAM, science, technology, art, engineering, and math.
Yeah.
Right. And Jess, you have a great story about Anguria who came, right?
So there's so many moving parts to Pow Wow. And the first last year we had an artist from the Dominican Republic named Anguria, and the week before Pow Wow something happened with his visa. It like went through the Walsh. Something happened, so he couldn't get here. Okay. Then the second time we were bringing him out to do his mural, a major storm hit the Dominican Republic and he couldn't get here. And we started to be like, maybe he's not supposed to come here.
Yeah.
Like something bad's going to happen. So he finally got here, and while he's painting the mural, there was a girl who was new to Elm Park School, who was away from her family. She's from the Dominican, and come to find out that this girl was having trouble and she was feeling very lonely, and that Anguria was from the town she was from in the Dominican. And she ended up hanging out with him and talking to him and chatting about art and chatting about home, and that really made a difference to her. She felt consoled and more confident by the time he left a week later after that. And it's more than art on walls, it's really emotional.
Yeah, no, it's connected. And I mean, I mentioned, you drive around by Elm Park School, and it just adds an energy and a magnetism. So, kids coming and going to school, playing in the schoolyard. And it also, I think, affirmatively says, the fact that these schools were chosen, and you have to pick and choose, because you've got now to the point where people are asking you to do this, right?
Yeah. We would love to do every school at some point. It's overwhelming. You want to do all of it, and then you have to look at your artists, and they only like certain walls or certain dimensions, and they're not being picky. That's just the way their style lends itself. Like they need a wall that has no windows, or they need a wall with windows, or they need a wall square. So you have to kind of pick and choose. We're trying to spread them out this time too, and not be so concentrated as we have been. But it really makes a difference. Like Elm Park had no windows on it.
Right.
So that art really changes it completely.
Right. It's kind of a unique type of art, unique type of art in the sense that this isn't a canvas that's, 2 by 3. No. You're literally talking, what are the dimensions of some of these?
20 feet by 30 feet. The back of the rink was 110.
Yeah.
That's right, the
50.
Fidelity Bank Worcester Ice Center was right. Yeah,
that is a monster of a wall. When you get out of the car and you just look at that wall, even if you're not painting it, you go,
the Palladium.
That's a big wall. The Palladium, I don't like painting my living room. So the idea that they're not intimidated by this huge wall is mind-blowing every time.
And that's where some of the safety and logistical and project management expertise that you have, Lisa, and others is helpful, because if they're going to do this in a short period of time, you've got to have all the logistics and things ready to go.
Nuts and Bolts Committee, we have a Nuts and Bolts Committee this year, and he works in construction, and he has been such a help when it comes to lifts and harnesses, and then we have our, I'm sorry to the committee, we call it the No Fun Committee, and that's all the legal and the insurance and the permits, and there's so many aspects that go into making sure that your artists are safe and taken care of, and then there's beautiful art that comes out of that.
And then you mentioned at the beginning of the segment, there's an opportunity to kind of meet some of the artists, or they'll speak, or panels.
Absolutely. We're still planning our event schedule for that week, but they are at their walls. We do tell people, don't call them down every 4 seconds to talk to them.
But you can come and watch.
Yeah.
Come and watch. They're painting right there. It's live. I mean, that's the best part of public art is it's for the people and it's accessible to everyone.
And so the dates again?
August 31st through September 9th.
Okay. And if people, once you have the schedule set, will that be up on a website?
Yep, we'll be promoting it on Instagram and Facebook as well. But if people want to learn more, they can go to powwowworcester.com.
powwowworcester.com.
We have passports to hand out the week of, which is pretty much the guide to Pow Wow, and it tells you all the events and the location of all the murals, and then we're going to have a fun little, go visit different businesses, and they're running these specials this week, so we're trying to include as much of Worcester as possible.
Right.
And an opportunity if someone wanted to contribute.
Yep.
On that, right?
Yep. Feel free to go to powwowworcester.com. There should be instructions on how to donate there. I do want to give a shout out to Mass Development through their Commonwealth Places program, a crowdfunding program. We were able to raise over $57,000.
Wow.
And Mass Development is matching with another $50,000, and
Huge
our
thank you to
festival
them.
would not be able to happen without that.
Every dollar counts. People, it's not, that is weighty words.
Right.
Like if you give $1, that is paint on a wall. That is a meal for an artist. It's we have to make every dollar.
If these artists are coming from
really
around the
count.
country, around the globe, you're paying for them to come, putting them up,
We pay for
feeding them.
everything.
That's part of it. And doing their art.
Yeah. That's all they worry about.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah.
paint something amazing, and I will take care of. We as a committee will take care of the rest. Yeah.
Well, great. Well, this has added a whole level of energy and excitement, not just within the city board,
Yeah.
the city's borders, but throughout the region.